Today we're choosing no bad days. This week we're choosing no bad days, no bad weeks, like no bad life. And we're going to shift our perspective into our power. And what this does is this means that everything that comes against us, we know God got us. Right? Of course, we're going to have moments that are unfavorable. Of course, we're going to have days and times in our day where we feel certain things. But what if you just ask yourself this question every time that thought comes up? I had a thought this morning that says, man, today's going to be stressful. And I said, no, I'm not accepting that. And too many times we accept things we shouldn't accept in our life, right? We accept things that we know don't lead us to our best life. We accept things that we know doesn't serve our life. We accept things that we know doesn't lead us to the life that we want to live or feel the things that we want to feel. And we just accept those things. We're so good at accepting lies. We're so good at accepting negative emotions. We're so good. And some of us, we have trouble accepting what's great. We have trouble accepting what's positive because we live a whole entire life thinking, okay, this is too good to be true. I'm waiting for it to go wrong. And that's not a way to live life. So from this moment on, from today, at least for today, let's practice this. No bad days. When emotions come up, we're going to ask those emotions and ask ourselves, does this serve our life? Does this serve the greater purpose of ourselves? Does this take me higher? And the answer is no, we're not going to believe it. We're not going to accept it. We're not going to adopt it. We're not doing it no more. There's no bad days. Every day is a day that's going to lead us to something greater. Yes, we might have days where it's a little bit harder. We might have days where it's a little bit more of a struggle. We might have days where everything isn't smooth sailing, but it's still leading us. It is still building us. It is still strengthening us. It is still making us. And we're going to use our perspective to shift our life into our power. We're not living in our pain no more. We're not living in our prison no more. We're not feeling sorry for ourselves no more. We're not living in our sad story no more. That's done with. The moment now is the moment that we make a declaration. We make a commitment to ourselves to say, there's no more bad days. If I woke up today and I got another chance at life, it's not a bad day. I know a lot of things may be happening around your life. I know some bills may be coming, some unfavorable circumstances, but you have breath in your body today. Dear God, thank you for helping me see today. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for giving me another opportunity at life. Thank you for giving me another opportunity of getting it right. Thank you for this new page. Thank you for this new chapter. Thank you for this new beginning. And I get it. When you look at your life, things might not seem favorable. You might not feel love. You might not feel supported. I get that. But today's a day where you say, you know what? I got another opportunity at life. I got another chance to turn things around. I got another chance to get moving in the right direction. I got another shot to move to my greater self. And this is not no optimistic BS. This is real life. Because why do we adopt things that don't serve us? Why do we believe things that aren't true about ourselves? Why do we let our feelings control our life? No, it's facts over feelings. FOF every day, all day. The fact is, yes, today might not be a favorable day, but today's a day that 150,000 people didn't get. Check Google if you don't believe me. You want to find a reason why you're blessed? 150,000 people didn't wake up to see today, but you did. But you have another opportunity. Now we got to make choices. We got to make decisions. And some of our decisions are major. And I talked about in the podcast today, talk to God, check your peace, practice the pause. And I want to get into that. Listen to the podcast. Protect Your Peace Season, episode 4, making major decisions. But some of us, we got to make major decisions in our life. Some of us, we've been going through the same day without making the decisions that we know we need to make. And we're experiencing the same things. But to get back to the point, no more bad days. No more bad days. We're not having no more bad days. We're not accepting it. Right? We're saying, no, not today. That is the mindset. Everybody write in the chat. No, not today. Enemy comes. No, not today. Negative emotions come and feelings come. No, not today. Stress comes your way. No, not today. Refuse to accept things that aren't true. Refuse to accept things that don't push you to the right mindset. Refuse to accept things that don't help your life. You don't have to accept it. Y'all know how I feel. You're in control of two things. What you give, for today's part, what you accept. You don't have to accept anything that's not true. You don't have to adopt anything that's not true. You don't have to stay with a belief that doesn't serve your life. No, not today. Stress is calling my phone? No, not today. Decline. You know what I mean? The things that are calling your life that don't serve your life, decline, ignore, send to the voicemail. And the voicemail means to say, I ain't got time today. If you ain't helping me live my best life, I ain't got time today. Emotions, if you ain't leading me to my best self, I don't have time today. Refuse to accept things that shouldn't be accepted in your life. Refuse to accept the unacceptable. Refuse to accept the unacceptable. Make a pledge to yourself today. Say, I refuse to accept the unacceptable. No, not today. I ain't got time for it. If you ain't leading me to where I know I need to be, where I know I need to go, if you ain't helping bring the right energy in my life, creating the positive vibes in my life, if you ain't a vibe that's positive, if it ain't a vibe that's positive, no, not today. I ain't got time for it. I don't have time to waste time on things that waste my time. I don't have time to waste time on people that waste my time. I don't have time to waste time on conversations that waste my time. I don't have time. No, not today. Is what we living by. So write in the chat right now, that's the mantra, that's the motto. No, not today. When I woke up this morning, I felt stressed. No, not today. And instead of accepting my stress, I did something to change my perspective. I did something to change my energy. I refuse to stay in sadness. I refuse to stay in limitations. I refuse to stay in a place that doesn't serve my life. And I cannot stress that enough over and over and over again. Stop accepting what shouldn't be. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I know it's easier said than done. I know it's hard when it's BS all around you, nonsense all around you. I get it. When you're dealing with your stuff, when you got setback after setback, I know it's hard, but refuse to accept it. You got to be a fighter. Because if you ain't going to fight for yourself, who's fighting for you? If you ain't going to fight for yourself, who's fighting for you? If you ain't going to refuse to accept it, who's going to do it for you? And I know you know this is true, but I just want to remind you, nobody is. Nobody is. If you want to change your situation, it starts with you. If you want to move forward with your life, it starts with you. Yeah, people can push you, people can influence you, people can pray for you, but it starts with you making a choice. It starts with you saying, no, not today. This week, the motto is no, not this week. No, not this month. And we're going to take it further. No, not this year. I'm not going back. I'm not looking back. I'm not dealing with that. None of that. No, not today. That's a powerful statement that seems so simple. But some of you are saying, yes, today. Yeah, I'll accept this. Oh, you got this opinion of me? Okay. Hey, come on in. Come on in. Negativity. Here you go. Negativity knocking, you opening the door. Here you go. Walk right in. Stress knocking at the door. You open the door. Come on in, stress. We're inviting these things in. Right? If you didn't send the invitation to when they knock at your door, don't feel guilty for leaving them outside. Just like that person that shows up to your house unannounced and you like, nobody invited you. And you talk to them through the Ring doorbell camera. Same thing with your life. When these uninvited thoughts come into your life, when these uninvited opinions come into your life, nah, you leave them at the door. You don't have to open the door to your soul. You don't have to open the door to your emotions. You don't have to open your door to your mental health. You don't have to open the door. No, not today. I'm busy. You're an uninvited guest. I didn't invite you into my life. I didn't invite you into my now, into my today. So nah, you're going to have to wait. Come back another day. I probably ain't going to, matter of fact, don't even come back because you ain't getting in here. And I'm not going to feel guilty for it. No, not today. Application denied. Refuse. No. It's not happening. And you got to be that unapologetic about it too. You got to be that unapologetic about it. You know, that's what I want for you. That's what I want for you today. And this is how your life changes, y'all. It's these simple things that we have to do over and over and over again. Some of us were waiting for this huge miracle. You know, some of us were sick. And I get it. We're sick and tired of being sick and tired, but it's literally these things that really change your life. It's really understanding how to change the flow, right? Having a flow of negativity. How do I change this to a flow of positive? How do I shift my perspective? How do I shift my mind? It's these simple things. And honestly, it's not hard to do. It's not these major things that you think, oh my gosh, my life is like this because of this. No, you start by saying, no, not today. You do your best to refuse anything that doesn't lead to the life, anything that disrupts your peace. If peace is your priority, anything that takes away from your peace, no, not today. I'm not saying in Spanish, but I would. No, not today. Anything that disrupts your happiness? No, not today. Anything that disrupts your positive mindset? No, not today. And the more you believe in God and yourself, the more you show yourself, the more you stick to these things, it makes it easier to deal with these things. I'm not exempt from these things, y'all. Y'all know how many thoughts come into my head every single day? You know how many situations come to my life every single day? But the more I've proved it to myself, the more I've showed myself through action, not just thought and word, but through action, the more confidence I have over myself. And the easier it is to say, no, not today, because I know the power in saying those 3 words. I know the power. And you can use that in any area of your life, because some of you maybe need to say to yourself, not to anybody else, self, no, not today. We're not doing that against self. We're not going back to that against self. We're not indulging in that against self. We're not doing it. It's costing us too much. It's costing us our energy. It's costing us our happiness. It's costing us our joy. It's costing us our peace. I've used this analogy before. If you had I'll tell you a quick story. I believe it was Tristan when he was little, my son. And you know how kids are, they like to experiment with things, right? And he had filled up the bathtub, and our tub didn't have it had a drain, but he had filled up the bathtub, and he was freaking out. Like, he kept the water going. He had plugged the drain, so the water was filling up. And he was like, Dad, help, it's overflowing. I said, stop the flow. He's like, how do I stop the flow? Turn off the water, stop the flow, open the drain, release it. And obviously he stopped the flow. He turned off the water. He unclogged the drain, or took the drain plug out, and the water drained out. We have that same opportunity in our life. Some of us are allowing the flow that doesn't help us glow, that doesn't help our soul radiate. We're allowing the flow to keep flowing. You're just keeping the faucet of negativity on, keeping the faucet of depression on. And I know sometimes it's hard to turn off that flow. But the words "not today" gives you a permission to turn off that flow. And you drain your life of the things that don't serve your life. Some of us are drowning willingly because we don't know how to say no, not today. You've been so great at being a people pleaser, so great with your great heart, so great with saying yes when you really want to say no, so great at accepting things that you shouldn't accept. But I want you to become phenomenal in this moment and saying no, not today. I want you to become phenomenal in this moment of knowing and owning your worth. I want you to become phenomenal in this moment of refusing anything that doesn't serve you. For some of us, that's easy. For some of us, that's hard. But you got to stop the flow, man. At some point, right? We can't complain that we're drowning. We can't complain that we have a flood in our life. We can't complain if we're keeping the water on, if we're keeping the negativity on, if we're not stopping the flow. You already know if your house was overflowing in your sink, you would turn off that sink just like that. Well, some of us, we're allowing that flow to keep going, and then we're complaining about that we're drowning, that our life is being flooded with negativity. In this life, we have to take action, stop the flow. And how we stop the flow, our cue is no, not today. And you say that every single day until you get to a point where it's not even coming to your life no more. they'll stop knocking. It will stop knocking, I promise you. Just like if somebody came to your house every single day, you never answered, eventually they'll stop coming to your house. It might take a year, it might take a month, it might take a week. But I can tell you there's things that I wanted to open the door to my soul so bad to, that kept knocking. But I knew it wouldn't help me live my best life. So I allowed it to knock. Sometimes that knock was disturbing. Sometimes that knock disrupted my peace. You ever had somebody ring your doorbell and knock on your door like the police, and you're trying to sleep and it's like, right? You're like, golly. That's some of us, right? Negativity's knocking. You're trying to have peace. Stress is knocking and you're trying to have peace. All these things. And it's hard for you to find peace. But I do know at some point you adjust. At some point the knock doesn't even disturb you no more because you're resting well knowing that you're moving to a better life. And at some point, that knock doesn't exist no more. But it all starts with the fundamental principle of saying, no, not today. How would your life be different if you really adopted that? If you really lived by that? Just try it out today. How would your life be different if you really didn't accept what shouldn't be accepted? How would your life be different if you really stay committed to the decisions and choices that you know are right for your life? No, not today. But you got to make that decision, y'all. Like I said in every single video, it all starts with you. You know, I'm just over here trying to influence you, trying to give you a little bit of inspiration this morning. But unfortunately, nothing changes if you don't make changes. That's it. I can motivate you. I can inspire you. I can yell at you. I can comfort you. I can challenge you. Yeah, I see somebody. Yeah, the Lord has been knocking. Exactly. Open up the door for the Lord. Let the Lord guide you and protect you. You're right. Some of us, right, have been ignoring that calling on our life. Right? The Lord's been calling you. You've been pressing ignore. You've been pressing decline. Right? That purpose has been calling you and you've been saying, I'm not ready for it. But let negativity call you, pick up. Let that situation that you know doesn't help your life, you pick up. So you're accepting the wrong calls and you're denying the right ones. So I just hope that you get some understanding in your life today of what you truly want and what you truly need. And I hope you live today with that as your priority and you make the tough choices and you make the tough decisions. And listen, it doesn't happen overnight. You know, I'm not a person of perfection. I'm not on this journey where I know everything about life. I have so many questions about my own life. But one thing I can definitely tell you with all surety is that I work damn hard at trying to live my best life, at trying to do the things that I preach about, trying to do the things that I tell you guys about. I try very hard. That no, not today came from me telling myself that. So I said, let me press live and tell them that. So it's going to be, I've been on this journey for a while and I'm going to be on this journey for a while. So don't think that you're going to get it perfect. Don't think that everything's going to change just immediately. But as long as you're progressing, as long as you follow progression, as long as you are a step ahead than you were yesterday, as long as you're a percentage stronger than you were yesterday, then you're moving in the right direction. Don't think you have to have it all figured out. Don't think that, you're not going to open the door sometimes, but my goal for you and my hope for you is that you start opening that door to negativity a little bit less than you used to. And if you can do that, that's a win. Even if you have, let me just say this as we leave here. because I know a lot of us, we battle things, right? We have our silent battles. And I want to just say this because, sometimes we feel like, oh, I have to be perfect. And if I'm not perfect at this, then I'm a loser. Then, man, I failed. I just want to share this with y'all really quick. Give me about 2 minutes of your time. Even if you open the door, right? I just want to tell you, there's progressions to this. And I want you to be proud for every progression you make. Some of you are not going to be at a 10 today, right? You might be at a 1 and you might get to a 1.5 today. And I'm proud of you if you're making that progression. But for some of us, we're still going to open the door. And I'll tell you right now, even if you open the door 100% of the time today or this week, but instead of willingly opening the door, you actually had a hesitation with opening the door, right? You actually said, no, not today, but you still opened the door and you went back and forth. But before, there was no back and forth. Before, you would willingly let these things in. So even if you still open the door, but there's a hesitation now, there's a fight now, there's a battle now, even if you lose that battle in that moment, I think you're still winning the progression of your war. I want to just repeat that to you right quick. Because some of us were dealing with addiction. Some of us were dealing with all these things. Even if, and y'all write this down, oh man, this is so deep. Even if you lose the battle, it doesn't mean you're losing the war. Even if you're losing the battle, doesn't mean that you can't win the war. So what does that mean? In common sense terms, y'all, that even if you don't succeed at sticking to it, if you at least have a conscience around it, if you at least have a hesitation towards it, you're further than what you were. And hopefully if you keep progressing, you get to a point where you get stronger, you get more confident, and you stop opening that door. So I want to say I'm proud of you. Don't let anybody judge your journey. Don't let anybody make you feel like you're less because you don't have it all figured out, because you're not perfect, because you might still be dealing with some things that you don't want to deal with. But if you're just even saying, no, not today, and it happens today, at least you're saying, no, not today. And that's the start. We don't always get to the finish line overnight. That's the start. So I'm proud of you for making the start. I'm proud of you for even thinking through and having that battle. But just because you lose the battle today doesn't mean you can't win your war. So you keep going. I'm proud of you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for rocking with me this morning. Thank you for being patient. I know I'm 30 minutes late, but the kids didn't have school today, so we had to work something out. They will be back here yelling and doing backflips. So we'll be back at 7:30 tomorrow morning. Please share this, like this live when you get off of here. It helps reach more people. If you feel like this was anything that somebody can listen to, maybe you find a time frame and say, hey, listen to minute 5 when Trent talks about this. So share this if you want to, if it's on your heart to. And thank you. I appreciate y'all for showing up. And Lori wrote it, even if you're losing the battle doesn't mean you are losing the war. Exactly. That's very powerful, y'all. And that just helped my soul so much too, because sometimes we lose a battle of the day and we're like, oh man, I lost the war. It's life. You're going to lose a day. Doesn't mean you have to lose the week. Doesn't mean you have to lose the month or the year. You're going to lose the game. Doesn't mean you have to lose the season. It's way bigger. And so I want you to know that. So I'm proud of you. It all starts with you. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. sharp. All right, let's get it. Protect your peace. Listen to today's podcast. All right, straight up. Listen to it. TrentShelton.com. Get the book.